Ready? 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Morning, Tampa Bay. This lovely, lovely Thursday morning. Danny, how you doing, brother?
Good, bro. A little tired.
A little tired?
Yeah, but this is the third installment of the What Not to Do show with Danny and Gino, coming to you live all over the world, but out of the Startup Street here on the corner of MacDill and Spruce.
In Spruce with some lovely weather this morning.
Horrible weather. Took us forever to get in here. What are we talking about today, brother?
You know, brother, I think we've had a lot of inquiries. And by the way, before we even dive in today, a huge, huge shout out to everyone and just the immense feedback. Danny and I have gotten incredible feedback from folks truly all over the country on the two shows we've done so far, right? And so it's been heartfelt, very warming, and listen, like we always tell you all, we're just two regular Joes. There's nothing special about us, but the trials and tribulations of life, they apply to everybody, right? Different form, different shape, different capacity. But being able to share our experience with you all, and hey, if it gives you some food for thought, if it gives you some advice, if it gives you just support knowing that you're not the only one going through life's challenges, then that gives us a lot of satisfaction that you know that you're not alone.
Ain't that the truth? And before we get started, I want to say hello to Mama. I love you, always will. And
I love Mama.
No, you don't love Mama like I love Mama.
Bet.
Let there ever be a doubt that I love her.
Hey, believe you me, man. She's
Ain't gonna
no
happen.
rib.
Ain't gonna happen.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're getting started. Today our main topic of the day is, and then of course we know we won't talk about it because we'll go on some tangent and
As always.
we'll keep going. So
Definitely. So the main topic today and what we want to dive into with you guys is how do we define ourselves, right? And that's, I know, I mean, right, we're going there. We're going there. It's a deep one. But I think, and one of the things that really piqued
hey, Jennifer.
interest, Jonathan Torres, good morning. Mac, I see you, buddy.
Roberto Lopez, I got you, bro.
You know, but I think one of the things for Danny and I is we've had this discussion so many times. Life changes so fast nowadays, right? Whether it's job, whether it's things in our society, relationships, news, the way information travels, change is always happening, right? And so where in that and the amount of change that we're exposed to, when do we take the time to breathe and actually recognize who we are and where are we in this journey, right, of this thing that we call life, right? And so being able to define that so you have confidence in yourself to know where you stand, right, with things that are happening on a daily basis, I think is incredibly important, but we just don't take the time to do.
Never take the time to do.
No.
I wouldn't have a clue. You know,
Yeah.
the reality of the matter is, too often, we give a crap about what everybody else says to the extent that we never define ourselves because we're letting other people tell us who we're going to be or who we shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. And it's even like the strongest of us, right? Notice that I said the word us because it happens to everybody. Even the strongest of us, we'll take a moment and go, you know, I think I'm on this path. I think this is who I am. I finally have figured it out. And then someone will be like, you know, that's really stupid. And then you let that person get in your head and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, am I stupid?
I mean, and then you think about it, right? How many things exist in society, right, that influence our decision making? I mean, every single day. I'll tell you right now, this thing right here, right? Cell phone, social media, news outlets, even friendships, family members, right, that influence what you do and how you do it, and perhaps circumvent what you feel and hear, right? What you feel in your heart, what you should do, and what you should be listening to, right? And so being able to get to that point to where you can calm the exterior and listen to the interior, I think that really, really is vital.
Well, so let's just dive down even further into it. You know, we allow other people to influence us in a way that you might not even realize is going on. So like when you're at work and you think that someone is watching you and you think, well, you know what, this is what I would normally do. I don't want to get talked about. Listen, work or high school or college, it doesn't matter what your culture is, what your environment is, what your group is. It's all the same thing.
It is.
You know, the ability to find the courage to be truly free. That, my friend, is like the nirvana that I'm looking for.
Yep.
And I'll tell you something. As much talk about it as I talk about it, and as much as I try to tell people to do about it, I fail to do that on a constant basis, right? So we go in and we have self-doubt.
Yeah.
I'll be filled with self-doubt on a regular basis. I think the difference sometimes for me and my coping mechanism is that I recognize the doubt and then I just say, okay, let's just try it anyways. Because you know, when you're 44, and I know that I'm an old man, because he's not, because he's not. Well, and I'm an older guy. When the older you get, clearly people start saying, "Oh, the more you recognize." Really, I think the older you get, the more free you become. That's why, you know, you'll give guys who say "F it," you know what I mean, and they finally become who they are. But it's too late, right? Mm-hmm. They've wasted. It's never too late. Actually, that's the wrong way to say it. It's not too late.
I got you.
But you've wasted 20, 30 years caring about, like, let's just say what West Tampa thinks about it, what your society thinks about it. And next thing you know, you wasted 20 years of your life. You're in a bad marriage. You're in a bad job. You're in a bad relationship, whatever it is that you want to do. And you never were truly free. You found yourself. You knew who you were, and you kept denying that person, and you stopped being happy.
Yes.
Can I tell you what I heard someone tell me the other day? They're like, "You're so full of crap." And I was like, "Oh, I know that. Tell me something I don't know." Me and my, you know, ex-wives and future ex-wives that don't know.
Future ex-wives.
I don't know. I seem to be
best foot forward.
Best foot forward. I'm collecting. So what they said is, you know, Danny, you always talk about this happy crap. You know what I mean? You're always talking, and I'm like, listen, it can be crap if that's what you want. People will say, "Oh, you truly can't be happy," and I will resist that till the day I die. You can be happy. You're not always going to be happy. You're not always living on this high, but you are always, or you should be, in the pursuit of that high, knowing that what comes up must come down. But that just makes the rise to go up higher again even freaking better. Yeah. So you can be happy. You just got to keep searching for it. And the only way to get there truly is to be who you are and who you're supposed to be.
So here's something really great, right? and I've noticed this, and I've seen this play out in a few different examples with folks who are in my family, right? Particularly older folks that are in my family. And I saw this happen with my abuelo, right, as he got older. And it's funny because I'm seeing it now happen with my father, right? And so, you know, you get to a point where, you know, when you're young and you've got energy and you're vibrant like me, not like Danny. but when you have the ability to be a go-getter, right? Always, you know, in the fight, so to speak, and wanting to break bounds and get through, you know, different challenges and meet goals. And then somewhere along the line in the life course and the life process, as you get older and mortality, right, becomes more apparent, you stop caring as much what other people have to say, right? And so I look at that and I say, well, wait a minute. I look at the freedom that comes along with that. I'll give you an example. My father, I remember him, he used to work 60, 70-hour weeks, I mean, all the time, right? Now, he's upon retirement, doesn't work nowhere near as many hours. And the focus, his drive, has everything to do with cherish the moments.
Yeah.
Right? Regardless of what people have to say, I'm going to do what I want to do. And if you don't like it, guess what? That's okay. You don't have to like it. But that's not going to persuade me one way or the other to do it or not to do it. I'm going to do what I want to do because that's where I find happiness. And Danny, to your point in our talk last week, look, people on a dance floor. Look, when you have that level of freedom, right?
Yeah.
When you're that free, man, and that is what life should be about. And so, you know, when I think of me, one thing I've started to do is I spend a lot more time with folks who are a lot older than I am, right? And who are in that sphere of life where they're like, listen, at the end of the day, you can have all those accomplishments, you can reach all those goals, but what really matters? And what really matters, and it's different for every person, right? But you know, when you're talking about the quality of time, there's only so many minutes, hours, and days you've got, right? And so if you're not listening or giving yourself the opportunity to listen to who you are, which, by the way, a lot of that comes from isolation, right? When you can cut out when you can cut out people around you and just go away by yourself for 2 or 3 days, right? Whether it's camping, out of state.
That ain't going to happen.
Well, if you can do it.
If you can do it.
Right, which is a choice. Equates to discipline. But that's cool. But if you can do it and give yourself the opportunity to listen to what's going on inside, it really is a powerful thing.
Well, so let's go to the dance analogy one more time. So you were watching the people dance. I love doing that. Mm-hmm. They're absolutely lost in the freedom of dancing, and then the song stops.
Yes.
You see what happens next? They go like this. Oh, damn! Was I just?
Yes.
Did I just do the Urkel? Did I just do like something ridiculous? And the answer is yes. You had a great time, and then some of them will have regret.
Yes.
And that is just like life, right?
It is.
So the answer is just to keep dancing.
That's it.
Just to freaking keep dancing. You know, we've got this Facebook, we've got these social medias, and we put stuff on there. Clearly, you and I are very active on that stuff.
Absolutely.
And that comes with a risk, right? So that
does.
comes with a risk. So people will be like, oh, look at you posting all those pictures. Folks, I'm going to tell you something. If it makes you happy to post pictures, I want you to post 1,000,001 pictures.
Do it.
And every time somebody criticizes you, just give them a thank you, because that's your next fuel for the. But that's really just a microcosm in life. When you are out there and you decide to spend a lot of money on your car and you want to fix it up because that's an expression of who you are,
yes,
your critics will come, your lovers will come, and somewhere in the middle you have to figure out who it is that you really, really want to be. And I just say rock it.
Well, you know, it was super cool. And a quick caveat to what you were saying about, listen, for folks who want to post a lot of pictures online, on social media, listen, I'll be the first to tell you, I was that person who was like, man, social media, it's played out, man. It's for folks who want attention and they constantly need feedback, but it's not, right? Because think about it. If it gives you an outlet and a tool to express who you are, right? A. B, and this was told to me not too long ago. Imagine that the gift of it that it is, like something like Facebook, where you can post your thoughts, post your pictures, where you're at in life, and think of your grandkids being able to see that one day. Think of your great-grandchildren being able to see that one day. How awesome would it be for us to go back right now? If I could see that about my grandfather, my great-grandfather, man, I'd love it, right? But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But the whole idea, though, is, when we're talking about defining who you are, think of the decisions you make on a daily basis, right? Because the decisions that you make ultimately lead to outcomes. Those outcomes will define who you are, more importantly, who you keep, which has an influence on what you do and how you do it, and how you perceive the world.
God, that's deep.
Is it? Is it too much?
God, we just went PhD level, and I'm just I'm really more like a high school graduate level, and now all of a sudden you're talking at this like, and I'm sitting there going, can I tie my shoes after we're out of here? And the answer is probably no. That's why I wear slip-ons.
You too?
Yeah,
You too?
absolutely.
Okay. All right.
So let's. You know who I think sometimes is the number one deterrent to, and this is going, and there's a big risk in me saying this. You know who the number one deterrent sometimes is? Are those people that are the closest to us.
Oh, man.
So when you're going to go take a risk, when you're going to go express yourself, like usually the only people you cared the most about, like, was your family, because they were always there. Like they were there when you're 5, they were when you're 6. They're like watching the TV show that is your life, right?
That's exactly right.
And so when you feel like you've lost them or you don't have their approval, but oftentimes they're like the hardest ones. They're like the ones that are the least approving. They're like the ones that are the most critical. And that my brother, that's rough.
It is extremely challenging.
Man,
extremely challenging.
I remember when I told everybody I was going to go in the Army. Listen, your mom, I get it. She raised you. She thinks you're going to die. I get it. And we almost died 1,000,000 times. I get it. But like when other people in your family literally look at you and they say you're stupid, that you're dumb, you're like, what? Yeah. So you got to figure yourself out. If you want to be free and if you want to be who you are, it starts with having to accept others really for who they are.
That's exactly right.
So if your buddy, and listen, this is in relationships too. Do you know how many times I have screwed up what not to do in relationships is when you go around and you're like, man, this girl is almost perfect. I wish you would just do this and this.
Right.
Well, you don't get to make that choice.
No,
right?
you don't.
Because you got to take her for who she is,
That's
just
exactly
like that
right.
you want to be taken for who you are.
But you know what I find, and it's a great point, and I think a really interesting thing about that, though, and when you're talking about the influence of folks around you, especially your closest circle, the most intimate of circles, which for some folks, it's family. And by the way, how you define family, whether it's blood, not blood, whatever, right?
Oh, we're getting into that in a second.
But when you think about who you choose to keep, who you choose to love, right? Those sorts of things and the influence that happens. Now, listen, nothing's perfect. Nothing ever is, right? But when you are taking daily influence from someone, right, that maybe perhaps truly doesn't have your best interest at heart, right? And maybe has some ulterior motives, right? Or maybe doesn't find solace or find peace in the things that you do, you better be prepared for some changes, right? And those changes, the ripple effect there, and then how does that play out, right? Which, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea because it's different for every person. But nevertheless, change is a constant there. Right. And so how we embrace change, right? What you and I always say, embrace the suck, so to speak, right? Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, those choices absolutely have a ripple effect. And it's just a question of when you are defining who you are, right? What goes into that? So how many times have you asked somebody, hey, Mike, so tell me about yourself. And how many folks ultimately lead off with what they do as a profession?
I never say it.
Right?
And and I piss people off all the time because they'll be like, hey, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I'm busy. And then this is what they're waiting for.
And then?
And they're leaning in. And they'll lean in and they're waiting for you to go, hey, what do you do? I don't care what you do.
No.
You understand that?
No.
When
matter.
we meet,
Yes.
I don't care if you clean garbage.
Exactly.
If you are a great dude and you
Yes.
bring value to my life, do you know how little time I have to invest?
That's exactly right.
I have so little free time that if I'm going to hang out with you, you've got to bring some value to me. You've got to bring me some joy. You've got to bring me some happiness. Your success has got to pump me up.
Yes.
So I don't care what you do.
No. Because listen, at the end of the day, right, listen, whether you are, to your point, whether you pick up trash for a living, right, or you run a Fortune 100 company, guess what? We're all on the same bus ride.
Yeah.
It's just what seat are you sitting in? What's the view look like? But we're all going to end up in the same place, right?
Yeah.
So having the ability and the opportunity, get to know people, not what they do, what for a job. No. Get to know them. When was the last time? I'll give you a prime example. There's a challenge out there, right? It's the 5 days of influence. Just going out, meeting people, right, who you see are influential, and shaking their hand, and just get to know them. Just a complete stranger, shake their hand. Hey, what do you do? What are you about, right? What's your life story? Because man, there's so many beautiful golden nuggets.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's got a story that's got incredible life lessons for anyone who's willing to listen. It's just giving yourself the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, let your wife be a waitress, right? Let your wife be a waitress at this is a true story. You really want to learn how crap it is that people treat other people and they don't give people a chance. So when I was dating Cindy, she was up at the Tampa Club, and she was a waitress, and nobody knew she was my wife, or nobody knew she was my girlfriend, I should say, and so she would serve them food, and they would treat her like crap.
Yeah.
And then we would be off at these like political events or these like Tampa social events, and they'd see her, and they'd see her with me, and they're like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? And that's the reality, you know what I mean? That happens literally all the time. And Cindy clearly has things that she could contribute. If you got to know her, there's a lot. She's got a wonderful person. You'd love to know her, but they only saw her as a waitress bringing them some like tea or soda or whatever, and they treat her like crap. And that is like the biggest mistake. But you know what? You know what I like about doing that? Good morning, Stacy. You know what I really like about doing that is whenever there's people that treat others like that, that's always an opportunity for me to go meet somebody.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? And then for me to go take advantage of the fact that you missed out, I got the advantage of meeting that person. As you know, there's not enough hours in the day.
No, there's not. But
I take great joy in it.
But it's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
And so being able to interface, being able to learn about other people, what their story is, what they're about, it really is an incredible thing. So, when we kind of go full circle and thinking about defining ourselves, listen, the choices that we make, whether it's who we keep, the framing, the perception that we carry on a daily basis about what my role is, who am I in this walk of life, right? What is it that I want to contribute, right? What is it that I want to learn? Listen, if you don't give yourself the opportunity, I know for me, I fail at this all the time because it's go, 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 and to just stop and be still, right? And so, okay, here we go. I need the PhD button.
PhD, everybody.
All right, so in the Japanese culture, particularly in the samurai culture, they have this concept called mushin, right? I know, and everyone's listening, check it out, right? Because it's really, really awesome, right? But essentially what it means is, and I love Danny's facials whenever I start getting into this stuff. It's awesome. It is epic. But essentially what it means is no mind, right? And so calm your mind and take in everything right here and right now, because all you have is the right here and the right now. And if your right here and right now is constantly go, 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 you don't give yourself the opportunity to listen to what's truly inside and what you want to do and how you want to do it. That's all I have to say about that.
Is that Mushin? You know what I was doing? I was doing Mushin right there. I was being quiet, trying to learn something. And I realized that in one conversation, we've all been gone to feudal Japan and back to West Tampa, all in one conversation.
Listen, I was getting ready to go Greece and go Aristotle on you, but
Please,
we're going to hold on that one.
I don't have enough duct tape for my brain for this dude. I'm going to have to wrap it before my head explodes. Listen, folks, if anyone's watching live, the What Not to Do with Danny and Gino show, and you have questions, you feel free to, chime in right there.
Please do.
Write them down. We'll answer them as we go. Sure. Today we're talking about how to kind of find the you. This will probably be a multi-podcast
it definitely will.
Topic, and it would be ongoing. But
I want to circle back to something. Family.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And so blood as opposed to non-blood.
Yeah.
Right? What are your thoughts on that?
So, family are the people that you can't edit out of your life because they're your blood. If you're raised like we were, right?
Yes.
So we're Cuban. And we were raised that no matter what, you roll with your family, good, bad, and indifferent. I'm okay with that. That's how I'm teaching my children, we are a gang, and we will stick together, and we will defend each other no matter what.
Yes.
There's good and bad with that, because oftentimes there's people in your family that you grew up with that you just can't even relate to.
No.
And the only reason that you hang out with them, is because they're your blood and you're forced to. Because if not, you have nothing in common with somebody like that.
For sure.
So oftentimes I'll get a lot of really rich experiences, loyalties, right? Faithfulness from people that I'll have met for just a year, and these people are more loyal, more friendly, more fulfilling than someone who might be your blood. So,
That's exactly
and,
right.
and there's a weird balance in that too. There's a really, really weird balance in that, but it's just the way life is. It's interesting in doing that. And so family is never in my book defined by blood. It's defined by how you treat each other, the loyalty between each other, and the faith that you will share.
Well, you know what, and I agree with you 100%. And I think the key word there is loyalty, right? And who it is you find loyalty with, right? And it's reciprocated, right? It's a two-way street. And so to your point, when it comes to blood related, I know. Look, for you and I, we both grew up in Hispanic households,
Right.
And so blood relation, I mean, that it's a big deal, right? It's a super big deal, right? And so, you know, when you think of the richness that comes along with it, it is. But to your point, it's a two-way street. There's also a flip side to that coin. The flip side of that coin is, listen, if there's toxicity, right, and there's things that happen, listen, you have to be open and amenable and accepting and non-judgmental as best as you can.
Right.
But at the end of the day, whenever loyalty is betrayed, right, how do you deal with that?
Bro, let me explain something to you. For me, the character traits that matter the most in this world, loyalty is probably the top one. Hell, I sell a T-shirt, and the T-shirt says, "Loyalty is my currency."
I love that shirt.
When I am expressing to you what you mean to me,
Yep.
you can measure it in measures of loyalty, right? But my loyalty is reciprocated.
Yes.
If it's not reciprocated, then we have no future whatsoever.
Well, you know, and it's interesting, man. Like when I think of the depth of loyalty, right? And I was very blessed. I had a wonderful. My parents were just awesome, right? And so when I think of the loyalty that I have with my parents, right, and my parents have with me,
Your parents are phenomenal.
dude. Yeah, man. I mean, it's I could never imagine going against that, right? It turns my stomach upside down, right?
Yeah.
And so, but you think about other relationships, right? Friendships and whatnot. Man, one of my, you know, Brad.
Yeah.
All right, boy. We've been friends for 27
Big
years.
boy Brad?
Yeah, big boy Brad.
Big boy
right?
Brad. Country Brad?
Bench 500 pounds Brad. Yes, that Brad.
Country Brad.
All right, so we went to preschool together, right?
Yeah.
Never ever skipped a beat. And listen, we lived two very different lives, right?
Yeah.
But the loyalty keeps him and I bound together because at the end of the day, I know he would never do anything
Yeah.
to betray me, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but now other people in my family that I could say that.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, things come and go. Things come and go, you know, and families and brothers and sisters, they're just like anybody else. They'll make mistakes and they'll see the errors of their ways. It just hurts more.
It does.
Right?
It
hurts
stings way more.
And that's the thing is, so when you have a loyalty-based relationship with somebody and they hurt you or they're disloyal,
Yes.
that knife hurts
Oh,
10 times more because you never saw it coming.
That's exactly
you
right.
never expected it. You know, that's your blind spot. You
Yes.
gave them your back. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So when I give you my back and then you betray it, that really, really, really stings. You know what I mean? So it's just something that we got to strive for on a constant basis.
No, and that's the thing, man. And going to our previous conversations, listen, those moments are going to happen. Things happen, right? Those are massive adversities, massive challenges. And the question is, how do you get through it, right? How
Right.
do you deal with it? And how do you keep moving, right? And that's the biggest thing. You got to keep moving. You can't stop. You can't be stagnant. You can't find yourself wallowing, right, in the sorrows of pain, right, that and
Right.
challenge that come along with that. There's so many beautiful things to experience in life. And yeah, there's going to be ups and downs. But it's funny. I'm sitting here saying this, and I think about it sounds so easy to do, but man, it's hard.
Oh, hell no. Are you kidding me?
It's
you,
hard.
You know, as I'm raising my kids, I'm super, super self-conscious to make sure that this kid, the T-Bird, knows that I love him, but that love is not any different than the one that I have for his little sister or the youngest boy or
Of
the youngest
course.
girl. And it's really hard. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's really
Oh,
hard.
absolutely
Because
it is.
knowing how like competitive me and my brothers were
yeah.
and for our parents' love and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, I was like, and you know, my mom and dad were phenomenal. You know what I mean?
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Your mom and dad. Let me just tell you, I love your mom.
Oh, I know your mom and dad. Listen, if my mom and dad are taking applications, I'll take one. But if you're mom and dad and you need a handsome, really good-looking big brother,
Are we doing a swap right now? Is that what's going on right now?
Family
a little
swap.
Mom and dad swap. Okay.
This family swap brought to you by Goya. Because you know that stuff will be lechon and pan con lechon.
And guayaba.
And guayaba. So, but I think that's ultra important. And the thing is, we don't teach that to go into the rest of your communities. Today we have this disposable, natured society.
Yes.
Where when you go to work, this is actually why I love having worked for the sheriff's or working for the sheriff's office right now, because I finally feel like I'm home. Are there disloyal people in the sheriff's office? Absolutely. But there's this common core feeling that we're there for each other, we're there for the unit, we're there to make sure that everyone watches each other's back and everybody goes home at the end of the night, even the civilians that are supporting those people. And that atmosphere, that culture, it's so addicting because it just feels safer. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you again, I don't live in some falsehood. I know that there's bad people there, and I don't mean bad, but I mean like people who are disloyal or people who are bad-natured. I got it. It's a human subset. But the reality of the matter is, like when we go to our job workplaces, people care more about themselves and they care about the unit. They care more about themselves and they care about the group. And that is where when we stray as a society, we have the greatest of problems because we forgot that there is something bigger than us and we just have to learn to give into it.
And so to your point, right, that there is something bigger than us, that concept in general, when we think of how egocentric we are nowadays, right, with people wanting constant attention, needing constant reinforcement, man, to be able to put the mission first, right, and carry that forward in anything that you're doing, the most important thing is in your personal lives. Now, it's a little bit different, right? I mean, for Danny, he works for a law enforcement agency, right? So it's very clear what the mission is, right? But when you apply that to your personal life, your personal constitution, what's your mission, right? And if you haven't defined your mission, you got to take the time to do that for yourself, because let me tell you, once you know it, and you can have that ripple in and drip into your life and how you make decisions on a daily basis to stay the course and stay on the mission, man, it makes a big difference.
It does make a big difference. So I think that's the the lessons for today before we wrap up are don't be a jerk. Okay?
Don't be a jerk.
Love your mother.
Yes.
Take care of each other and be loyal.
And listen, family in general. Love your family, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it's blood, not blood, it doesn't matter. Have unconditional love, no matter what. And because, listen, at the end of the day, that's how you define yourself, right? Those tentacles, those ripple effects, it has a direct consequence to who you are and how you look at yourself in the mirror.
Absolutely. So what do we got coming up in the future, G?
What do we got coming up? We got a talk coming up.
Yeah, we got a big talk coming up.
We do have a big talk coming up. So that's on Tuesday?
Monday? Next Tuesday.
Tuesday, right? Then we have another talk at the end of February that we're doing, right? And of course, weekly podcast will be on. Listen, and by the way, if you guys have topics you want us to cover, Danny and I can talk about anything for a long time, right? And so just based off of experiences and failures and what not to do, right? So send it to us. We want to hear from y'all. We love the interaction this morning. Big shout out to Stacey Carpenter, Ian Davis. I see you, buddy.
Monique, Chris Marker, Van Pelt.
KD, what's up, bud? Beth. Yep. So
Lizette, stop making popcorn. Sit and watch.
No, please keep making popcorn.
Keep making
we love your popcorn.
That's right. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Josh Morgan, Louisiana. We see you, bro.
Yeah, we see it, and we love the support. Like we said, guys, we've had just incredible outreach for these topics, and it's very humbling and heartwarming for Danny and I. So we do appreciate it, and it helps us push our mission forward to have you all learn from our mistakes. So.
All right, so thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We will catch you on the next show of What Not to Do with Danny and Gino. Signing off from Startup Street. I'm Danny.
I'm Gino.
We'll see you on the next one.
Make it a great day.
Bye-bye.
Guys.